I've been following this bill as it's been heard in various committees, and one of the things I'm really concerned about, back in Broward County, I served for several years on the school board's diversity committee, and there's been some of the tones as this bill is discussed and some of the characterization in the Judiciary Committee. I was horrified to hear the situation of the death of Amanda Collette, who was shot at Dillard High School, and the terminology and how it was used. It was a sad loss of 2 children. But what I'm really concerned about as this bill is debated and goes through the Senate and the House is the concerns of just the hatred and the bigotry toward the gay community. These protections are already provided under the Florida Constitution, under the U.S. Constitution. This legislation is unnecessary, which is something that, as a former Republican, I used to always believe that, you don't put unnecessary laws on the books. It's some of the rhetoric that I've been hearing during these committees. Most recently, at the beginning of the school year, parents sent their child, a teenager, to her bedroom, and they said, "Here, take this bottle of aspirin. Go to your room. Don't come out until you're finished." They found out that she was a lesbian, and they wanted her to kill herself. And I think you need to keep these things in mind as this bill gets debated, and the message, how anti-gay, homophobic this really is when there are laws that are currently sufficient on the books. I can't tell you how horrifying it is. There are many churches, there are many that are affirming of LGBT people that will perform these. And gay couples will go to those churches that affirm them to get married. We are not going to seek out a church who does not want to marry us. That is not a spiritual home in which we would feel welcomed, comfortable. I studied as a seminarian in the Newark Archdiocese some time ago, and it really baffles me to hear this. Unfortunately, I left at the time because I was a victim of sexual abuse while in the seminary. So the church and the experience to me has a whole nother experience and meaning. But I really think about, as this bill is debated, is it really necessary? Is it really necessary? And on the Senate floor, when you have pages, you worry about the words that are spoken in debate in front of children. Children who may be watching the program right now to learn about government, to learn about the Constitution, to learn about the separation of church and state. Are these the debates and some of the rhetoric that children need to learn as they learn about government, as they need to learn about how laws are enacted? LGBT people are people. We've been struggling to have our own civil rights protected in the workplace, as was heard yesterday and tabled last week or 2 weeks ago. This very bill actually ran out the clock from us waiting many years to have our rights heard. This bill is a reaction to the fact that the Supreme Court struck down the Marriage Protection Act. And this is just a bill that is channeled from anger and is misdirected. Florida is a diverse place, and there are many diverse spiritual homes for people. And I urge you to keep that in mind. This is an unnecessary legislation, and I ask you to oppose it. Thank you.
Thank you.